Good morning, students. Today we are discussing about the joints of the foot. In these joints, before that, discussing the joints, we should know the what are the tarsals, what are the how many metatarsals, how many phalanges are there to form the joints. First is the largest bone in the tarsals are that is the calcaneum, thallus, navicular, cuboid, and three cuneiform bones. Next, five metatarsals, 14 phalanges are there. So the competence under this topic 20.2 describe the subtalar and transverse tarsal joints. So what are the joints between this? One is the intertarsal joints, tarso-metatarsals. C is the intermetatarsals. D is the metatarso-phalangeal joints. E is the interphalangeal joints. These are the five joints are present in between the tarsals, metatarsals, and interphalanges. The main intertarsal joints are one is a subtalar or and also called the thalocalcanean joints. Second one is the thalocalcaneo-navicular joints. Third one is calcaneo-cuboid joint. Fourth is the intertarsal joints. So these are the four are the intertarsal joints between the seven bones. One is the subtalar, that is also called the thalocalcaneum joint. Second one is the thalocalcaneo-navicular joint. Third one calcaneo-cuboid joint. Fourth intertarsal joints. See, this is the calcaneum, thallus, navicular, cuboid, three cuneiform bones, five metatarsals, 14 phalanges are there. Movements of the joints are as follows. See, between the intertarsal, tarso-metatarsal, intermetatarsal joints permit the gliding movement and rotatory movements, which jointly brings the inversion and eversion. So here the gliding movements, rotatory movements, not only these two, and also main important movements are inversion and eversion of the foot. Next, the metatarsophalangeal joints. These two similar to the hand, like a metacarpophalangeal joint, that like here also metatarsophalangeal joints. Similarly, flexion, extension, adduction, and abduction. These are also we are identifying in the metacarpophalangeal joints. Next is the interphalangeal joints. This is a hinge variety of the joint that permits only the flexion and extension of the interphalangeal joints. So most of these subtalar and also called the thalocalcaneum joint. This is very important. This is short notes. So should know everybody this subtalar joint. See, there are two joints are there under this subtalar, that is anteriorly and posteriorly. These two joints between the thallus and calcaneum. So below the calcaneum is there, above is the thallus is there. So posteriorly it is articulates with the thallus articulates with the calcaneum. Anteriorly thallus articulates with the calcaneum. See where it is articulates. See posteriorly it is articulates between the that is a thalocalcaneum and also called the subtalar joint, whereas anterior joint is a part of the thalocalcaneo-navicular joint. So under this topic we are discussing the thalocalcaneum and also thalocalcaneo-navicular joint. These two are we are discussing. Next, two joints form a single functional unit. That is, clinicians often include the joints under the term is subtalar joint. The two joints are separated by the sinus tarsi. When these two bones articulates, when you keeping first is the calcaneum, above the calcaneum, when it is articulates with the thallus bone, then we can identify two places anteriorly and posteriorly. It is articulates, thallus is articulates with the calcaneum. When it is articulates to formation of the subtalar joint, there is a sinus tarsi is there. It separates the above is the thallus, below is the calcaneum. See here, this is a calcaneum, this is a thallus, this is a navicular bone. So here thallus is articulates posteriorly with the calcaneum, anteriorly with the here calcaneum, and also articulates with the navicular bone. That's why it is called the thalocalcaneonavicular joint. Thalocalcaneonavicular joint. Next, thalocalcaneum joint. First, we will discuss thalocalcaneum joints. It is a plain synovial joint. It is a plain variety of the synovial joint. It is between the concave facet on the inferior surface of the body of the thallus. So, where it is articulates, body of the thallus, inferior surface, it is going to articulates with the convex facet of the middle one third of the superior surface of the calcaneum, superior facet of the calcaneum. So what are the bones? See here it is connected by these two bones. One is a fibrous capsule, lateral and medial talocalcaneum ligaments, interosseous talocalcaneum ligament, and cervical ligaments. These are the capsule, talocalcaneum ligament, and also interosseous talocalcaneum ligament and cervical ligament gives the support and covering to these two bones. Next, the interosseous talocalcanean ligament. What is this? It is a thick and very strong band. It is a thick and very strong band. It occupies the sinus tarsi, where these two bones articulates to each other above and below. Between these, there is a sinus tarsi. It is a depressed area is there. This separates the talocalcaneum joints from the talocalcaneonavicular joint. It becomes very tight at the time of the eversion and limits this movement. When it is become tight, it cannot move more than this. So it is very tight at the time of the eversion. But first of all, you should know the inversion and eversion. When the foot is keep on the ground, there is a foot having the medial border and lateral border. In inversion, medial border raises, so automatically plantar surface facing towards the medial side. That is called the inversion of the foot. Whereas the lateral margin faces, lateral border of the foot, it is extending above, whereas the plantar surface of the foot facing lateral side, that is called the eversion of the foot. These two should know the inversion and eversion. Next, another ligament is there, cervical ligament. Cervical means that always it is attached to the that is the neck of the thallus. See, it is placed lateral to the sinus tarsi. Sinus tarsi. It passes upwards and medially and attached to above the tubercle, which is present infrolateral aspect of the neck of the thallus. That's why we are calling it is a cervical ligament. Where it is going to attach neck of the neck to the thallus. It is also important at the time of the inversion, it become a very tight and limits the movement at the time of the inversion of the foot. Next, another is the thalocalcaneonavicular joint. It is a ball and socket variety of synovial joint. The head of the thallus fit into the socket which is formed by the posterior surface of the navicular bone. So, head of the thallus anteriorly is going to fit and articulates with the posterior surface of the navicular bone. These are the spring ligaments medially, laterally, and middle limb of the bifurcate ligament laterally. So one is the spring ligament, it is going to attach to the medial surface of this, and whereas the lateral surface is going to attached by the medial limb of the bifurcate ligament laterally. What are the movements here? One is the inversion, another one is the eversion. See here, this is a thalocalcaneonavicular joint. So this head of the thallus going to articulates with the, which is the posterior surface of the navicular bone. Here, this is the spring ligament. It gives the support to this and articulation with this, where it is give the support to the thalocalcaneonavicular joint. Next is the spring ligament. This you may expect the 2-mark question. That is a plantar calcaneonavicular ligament. This is present in the plantar surface of the foot. Where to where it is attached? It is posteriorly it is going to attach to the calcaneum bone. Anteriorly it is going to attach to the tubercle of the navicular bone. See, posteriorly it is going to attach to the anterior margin of the sustentaculum thalli bone. That is the sustentaculum thalli. Pointedly, the plantar surface of the tubercle, which is present the navicular bone. So it is spring-like action, where elastic fibers are there. When foot is on the ground, it is pushing downwards. It is becoming acting like a spring-like action, and shock absorber-like action is there. So the head of the thallus rests directly on the upper surface of this spring ligament, whereas the plantar surface of the ligament is supported by the below. We can identify the tendon of the tibialis posterior, whereas the medially flexor hallucis longus, flexor digitorum longus laterally. So this spring ligament superiorly it is relation with the inferior surface of the head of the thallus. Medially by that is a plantar surface, it is relation with the ligament, that is a tendon of the tibialis posterior. Medially by the tendon of the flexor hallucis longus, whereas the laterally by the flexor digitorum longus. These are the ligaments give the support to this, and relation with the spring ligament is very very important. You should know, may expect the short notes. So and also the spring ligament is also most important ligament for the maintaining the median longitudinal arch of the foot. Median longitudinal arch of foot. See, this is the spring ligament. Is going to, this is sustentaculum thalli of the that is a calcaneum. It is attached to the anterior margin and going to reach to the plantar surface, which is present the navicular bone having the tubercle. This is the spring ligament. The head of the thallus always rests on this spring ligament, give the support. Next is the transverse tarsal or the mid tarsal joints. One is the calcaneocuboid thallonavicular joint. So here the important is calcaneum, that is a tarsal bone, one of the largest tarsal bone. Calcaneum, it is going to articulate superiorly with the thallus. Calcaneum anteriorly going to articulate with the cuboid bone, and thallus bone anteriorly is going to articulate with the navicular bone. So the transverse joints here, the two bones, calcaneocuboid thallonavicular joints. So first calcaneocuboid joint. Where is the anterior surface or anterior end of the calcaneum? It is going to articulate with the posterior surface of the cuboid bone. This is a saddle variety of the synovial joint. Here the bones is connected by the fibrous capsule, lateral limb of the bifurcate ligament, long plantar and short plantar ligaments. See, bifurcate ligament. What is it? It look like a Y-shaped ligament. The stem of this Y-shaped bifurcate ligament attached to the sulcus calcaneae, whereas a middle limb anterior is going to reach to the navicular bone, and lateral limb of this ligament going to reach to the cuboid bone. That's why it is look like a Y-shaped bifurcate ligament. Next, not only this, long plantar. It is a long and strong ligament just above the plantaris aponeurosis. After remove the plantar aponeurosis, we can identify this long plantar ligament. It is a strong ligament. Posteriorly, it is attached to the plantar surface of the calcaneum. Anteriorly, it is going to attach to the cuboid and medial three metatarsal bones. So it is a long and strong ligament, and also the formation of the medial longitudinal arch of the foot. After remove this, we see here we can identify long plantar ligament. See, it is going to and posteriorly attached to the calcaneum. Anteriorly, it is attached to the cuboid bone and large medial three metatarsal bones. After remove this, we can identify the short plantar ligament. This is also another strongest ligament going to attach to the posteriorly calcaneum, anteriorly attached to the cuboid bone. Not only this, and also we can identify this is the peroneus longus ligament, the tendon give the support to these joints. Next, short plantar, that is also called the calcaneocuboidal ligament. It lies deep to the long plantar ligament. It extending from the anterior tubercle of the calcaneum to the plantar surface of the cuboid bone. That is a short plantar ligament. So this is a very very short topic. May expecting the one short notes, that is a subtalar joint, and two more question is the spring ligament. So remember this. Thank you very much.